Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Telling tales and tracing roots. Genealogy with Donna, episode 25. I do not count well. It is 25. I've recounted. So there you go. Hope you're having a great day. Weather is good, a little cool, but hey, we'll take it rather than the hot temperatures. And perhaps more thunderstorms today. Hopefully no power outages, but we will see. Big news, big news. So let me back up and tell you the legend, the story, the things that I overheard or understood to be true when I was a kid. And this would have been prior to my 15th birthday, so these are things that I heard. I heard that my great-grandmother, Aurora Archambault Walton, had twins, and they died. I also heard she had 13 children. What else did I hear? Right now, that's about all I can remember. However, Jody, and she's coming up today, she said, so I'm very excited to see her. But she said she found the fact that my father, named Arthur Earl Walton, was not the first Arthur in the family. And I said, no, I already knew that. Aurora's father was Arthur Isidore Archambault, and I already knew that. So that would have been his, that was Aurora's father, so that would have been my great-grandfather. And my father was named after him. Okay, well, Jody found that Jody found an Arthur prior to my father's birth. There was an Arthur Camille Walton, born 11/4/1922, died 11/27/1922, and unfortunately the child died of malnutrition. Very sad. But he was born on the same day as John Matthew Walton III. They're the twins. They didn't both die. One died. My guess is the one twin, Arthur, was underdeveloped and couldn't feed for whatever, in 1922, the science of testing, etc., was not where it is today, of course, 100 years later. But wasn't able to feed, couldn't digest, didn't gain weight, and therefore died, which is super sad when you think about it. The child was 23 days old and died. But therein lies the things that you heard, and you either can or can't put together, what you hear. And if you can't find, and I never knew, as far as I knew, John Matthew Walton III was a single child. It was only in the death certificate that Jody found of Arthur that it said it was a twin birth. So going back and then looking at John's birthday, that coincided. So that was kind of amazing. That was like a oh gotcha moment. So sometimes you don't know what you don't know. If you can't find any documentation for it, then you kind of move on about your business. And it was just, I can't wait to find out how Jody found it. It's kind of exciting. Anyway, so today we are going to talk about famous ancestors and how to find them. Sometimes you don't find them. Sometimes they find you. Case in point, I went back to my tree as far as in the United States. This was in the United States, not with the world membership, but in the United States. And I found that on the Mayflower, I was related to a Diggory priest. Unfortunately, Diggory did sign the Mayflower Compact, but he did not survive the winter. He was ill when the ship disembarked, not where they wanted to at all, and unfortunately, he passed away that winter. So he was one of the 100 that died that winter of the ship, which is really sad. I still, and you'll say, well, Donna, if he died, then how can you be a descendant of his? when he went from England to the Netherlands, which is where many of the pilgrims went because of religious persecution, he had a wife and 2 daughters. And they stayed in the Netherlands when he left on the Mayflower. I don't know whether they felt it was, let me go and get settled, and then I'll send for you. I know that 7 years later, she had remarried, and she'd gotten word that he died, and she had remarried a gentleman, and 7 years later, they came to the United States. So they stayed in the Netherlands that long. Anyway, so defining famous in your family tree. Famous doesn't mean royalty or presidents. Sometimes it's just local legends or heroes or innovators who made a mark. Maybe they established a town. Maybe they were in one case, we have an ancestor that was the sheriff of the town. He was also in the jail of the sheriff office because he had a drinking problem. So I don't know how we resign that, but that Daniel, good one. But that's a good one. Let's see here. Start with your proven lineage. Trace your family tree back as far as you can with solid documentation. Once you hit the 1700s or earlier, you increase your chance of connecting to someone who is historically recognized. Leverage published lineages and databases. Don't go reinvent the wheel. Use the tools like Ancestry, MyHeritage, Family Search, or Genie, which I hadn't heard of Genie before. I'm going to have to go investigate that one. That include famous relative finders. Many well-documented figures have published their family trees, and it might overlap yours at some point. Remember that the generations that you go back, you have, and as I have said before, you have your 2 parents, your parents have parents, those parents have parents, and you just keep going back and back and back. Also, watch for surname or location clues. Sometimes a shared surname in the same region can point to a connection. Maybe you have the same last name of some town. Maybe your ancestor established that town. That'd be kind of cool. Combine it with wills, land records, and church registers to see if your line ties into that. Also, verify before you brag. Many myths have been related to George Washington or Cherokee princesses, and you need to cross-check the sources with primary documents before claiming a famous link. Whether it's a king, a pioneer, or a hometown hero, the real treasure is in the story, and proving it makes it even sweeter. There are an awful lot of pioneers that started out from Springfield, Missouri to take the Oregon Trail. Some of them stopped. Some of them are buried along the way. Some of them made it all the way to their destination. So you never know where you might find the stories until you start investigating. So start your family tree. It doesn't hurt. And go back as far as you think you can go. In Ancestry, the app, Ancestry, you get little green leaves for hints. I found one this week. Hi, Helen. Thanks for joining me. I found one this week. My mother in her yearbook at high school at Mark Hempel on 1942. So you never know what you might find when you start searching. And maybe you're not searching. Maybe you're just filling in information, and something might pop up. So it'll be a surprise, possibly. It'll be documentation or sourcing for the story that you've been hearing all of your life. And it might be just something that you didn't know. Anyway, take care. Have a happy Tuesday. Have a great week. And I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.